Live at Budokan by Helloween. New live album that's coming out December 13th on Reigning Phoenix Music. Helloween is, of course, releasing this album, which was recorded at Budokan Arena in Japan. And, you know, for me, in my opinion, this was a great idea. Budokan Arena is an iconic place, and I thought it was very fitting they would record a live album at this arena. Really, really cool place. The band has actually always had a great Japanese following as well. And before I get into my review, I'm going to let Andi Deris tell you why they decided to record it at Budokan Arena. Here is the interview clip from the recent interview I did with Andi Deris of Helloween. Check it out here. You have a live album coming out live at Budokan. I finally have been able to listen to the entire thing. And I think the mix and the sound of the live record is amazing. And, you know, the band has always had, obviously, a very good following in Japan for as long as I can remember. So what was it about Budokan? What was it about that show that you decided to say, hey, let's record a live record here and, you know, let's record this show and release it at some point?
Well, simply because we're talking about the holy concert hall of Japan, which until the 70s, bands were not even allowed to play in there because it's that holy sumo hall. We all love sumo. And I remember myself watching lots of fights and battles in live broadcast and on German television. It's like being knighted, put it that way. If you are out to play Budokan, especially on weekend, we're kind of knighthood of Japan now. So it's a great honor. Musicians know it. I mean, we had a saying in our scene. When I looked up, like it was 16 or 17, I remember there were lots of great musicians in my hometown. They'd been like around 30, 35, and everybody was looking up to them because they had some little success going on in the area. And they always said like, oh, imagine once playing Budokan and then die. So that stuck in my head. Before the show, I thought, okay, you're playing Budokan now, please don't die. But nevertheless, it was like fantastic. Staying on stages like this is like definitely a dream come true, and probably one of the top spots of your memories when you look back as a musician.
Sure.
You can't get any further in Japan, put it that way.
Andi Deris talking about the Live at Budokan live album by Helloween and why they decided to record that album there. So my thoughts on this live album. When I evaluate a live record, I usually look at what the band has done in the past. And of course, I can kind of compare it to other live records, but I usually like to compare it to what the band has done previously. So my opinion on Helloween live albums has always been kind of mixed. The first album, live in the UK, Keepers Live, I Want Out, that was cool. I wish it was longer. And for whatever reason, on the American version, they didn't put the song Rise and Fall. Never figured that one out. That's not bad. It's from the Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 2 tour. Obviously, you get to hear that whole band, with Ingo playing as well. The next live album was High Live, and that came out during the Time of the Oath tour, after that whole tour ended. And High Live was okay. I would probably say it is the least favorite of mine of any live album that Helloween has ever put out. You have Legacy World Tour, the live album from the Keeper of the Seven Keys, the Legacy Tour. That is where the quality standpoint pretty much stepped up a lot as far as the production and as far as the mix goes. That is a very good live album, actually. And then we didn't really have any live releases until United Alive. So United Alive came out. That is when Michael Kiske and Kai Hansen came back. That is probably one of my top 2 or 3 live albums of all time, not just probably my favorite that Helloween has ever done. but it is probably one of my top 2 or 3 live albums of all time. Probably right up there with Live After Death by Iron Maiden, or the other Iron Maiden classic live album that always gets overlooked, Beast Over Hammersmith. But United Alive is a fantastic live record. It just pretty much a flawless live album to begin with. So now we have Live at Budokan. And how would I compare this? So I would probably say Live at Budokan is, first of all, the mix and the production sound great. I think the sound of this live record is every bit as good as United Alive and Legacy World Tour. I would probably put all of those 3 live records in the same category as far as the quality of the production is concerned. Very, very good sound, very good mix. Very well done, very well played. I mean, these guys are extremely talented people. And again, just great performances overall on all 3 of these live albums. And I would probably say Live at Budokan, I like it just as much as United Alive. The only thing I would say that I like better about United Alive is the song selection. Because United Alive is 3 CDs basically. And you have songs spanning almost pretty much every era of the band and almost every album. Not all of them, but you have such a much better song selection because you have more of the back catalog in there. With Live at Budokan, they didn't do as long of a show, and of course, you're playing songs off of. You're basically playing songs off of the new album, the self-titled album that they had just come out with. So, me personally, I would say the album is phenomenal. I think it's great. If you like Helloween and you like their live releases, it's a must buy. The video, from what I've seen, I haven't actually watched a Blu-ray. I don't have that or anything at this point. But looking at the video online that they've shot for this, I personally think it looks better than the video for United Alive. So I think the Blu-ray and the video and the fact that they are in that arena, I think it just looks better. So 10 out of 10 for me. Obviously, it's my favorite band of all time, but the live record, the quality factor of it, the sound, everything is phenomenal. If you like Helloween, it's a must buy. Now, one of the things I did bring up in a previous episode is that I think it would be cool if Helloween would record a live album after each tour. And I said that because, look, this is one of the most unique shows in heavy metal. For me, personally, this is one of the greatest things to happen in the metal scene in the last 10 years. It would be really cool if they were to put a live album out after each tour. So in other words, you put a studio album out, you go on a huge tour, you put a live album out, go in, record the next record. And I brought that up to Andi Deris, actually, and this was his response. Check it out.
With as unique of a show that you guys have, one of the things that I've talked about on the podcast, and one of the things I thought would be cool is, between your studio albums, maybe after each tour, during each tour, actually recording a live album and releasing it between albums after each tour. Have you thought about doing that?
Yeah, but this might get a bit boring, don't you think? I mean, I don't know. I love live albums when it's like a kind of a milestone, and you say, okay, this week gotta actually tell the world that we're proud of this one. And for Budokan, that's definitely a thing, not only for us, but for the musicianship out there who follow us. They are probably very proud of us, probably as much as we are for ourselves. It should be a milestone, put it that way. So last time we released but it's a YouTube release that was live in Wacken, for example. It's like one of the biggest metal festivals in Europe. Milestones are important, but I don't think we should release each and every year a live album. That'll be friggin' boring, I think.
Okay, so that's Andi Deris after I had asked him, hey, will you guys record a live record after each tour? I get it. When he says it has to be a milestone, it makes a lot of sense to me. Budokan is definitely a milestone, which is why they did that. United Alive was a milestone and bringing Kai and Kiski back. I get that. When you look at Legacy World Tour was basically kind of a milestone because they were paying tribute to the Keeper records. Again, I understand that. So I understand where he's coming from. Me personally, as a fan, I would still love to see them come out with a live album. Now, it is a 40th anniversary tour that's coming up, so maybe they might do something pretty unique in regards to that. But I understand where he is coming from. It has to be the right time, right situation, and it has to be some sort of milestone event to where they want to record that. He did bring up the Vakken live album, or that was pretty much not a live album, but it was pretty much put out on YouTube, the live show. I would love to see that released someday. So at least, to be able to go in and get it on CD, vinyl, all that other fun stuff. So that's my review. I think the live record is phenomenal. I think it is mixed really well. It sounds good. The recordings are great. Overall, again, 10 out of 10. Pretty happy with it. Hey everybody, Tony here from the Metal Command podcast. Again, I appreciate your support. Since 1998, I have hosted this show in one form or another, starting off in radio and now in the podcast format. Again, thanks for watching, and if you like what you see and hear on this show, by all means, please hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell to be notified anytime I do post a video, and if you see this program on any other form of social media, please give me a follow there. Again, I always appreciate your support.